Right, and that's it. I think we're now live. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to mine and Phil's little discussion about 8th edition. You may have watched the live stream. I unfortunately missed it. I was at work. So, Phil is basically going to be taking the lead on this discussion today. But before we start, if you want to win any character up to the value of £20, go and check out the competition video from just over a week ago. Go and subscribe to our sponsor, who is Wargames, Martin McNeil. Check his YouTube channel out. Lots of banter and interesting things on there. And go and check out his website. Discount on all hobby-related stuff, not just Games Workshop. All you have to do is leave a comment on that video for the chance to be in with a chance even to win a character up to the value of £20. So there's a few things going on with the channel. We're getting a big apocalypse game of Age of Sigmar already. I'm currently working on Lucy's Star Drake, and I have a Bloodthirster behind me there. Can it finish? Phil?
Number two.
Number
two.
There's a few more things that are coming on the channel. You may have seen the first battle report for Space Hook has already gone up. I know it's a little bit of a niche, but I really enjoyed playing some of them games with Tom. And it's a nice little break from 40k, as it is, I feel, a little bit clogged at the moment. Me and Phil filmed an entire Gangs of Comrade campaign. That was fun.
Honestly, better than I expected. Wish they brought out more factions. Honestly,
me and Phil actually, we discussed it a bit as well, and we think it'd be quite easy to actually add extra factions. We thought about Necron Twin Blades, possibly Space Marines on jump packs as well.
Carbon Jones and Vespids. You can even have demons with the likes of the Stingrays, and then your leaders on top of discs. You could.
Each one would be good.
You could even do, Tyranids. You can do, honestly, so many different things, in my opinion. And I think that it can work. I think we might try it. So
definitely. So the battle report for that and the entire campaign will be coming out over the next few weeks. But
get my Caradon Overlords tomorrow. I mean Wednesday even.
And on top of that, Phil's getting Caradon Overlords. I have a new AOS army. Boom! Beast Riders. Phil is not happy.
Everyone put shame, shame, shame in the chat.
Underdog painting, hey, you sexy beast. Beast core. So, Phil, the live stream. 8th edition is coming.
Hell yeah. So the first thing that was mentioned was the info that was released at Adepticon, which was about the movement values, which is basically each and every unit gets their own version of movement values.
Now, you're too young to remember this, right? I actually played 2nd edition, and movement stat was a thing then, so it's nice to going back to that.
Can we have a Phil appreciation video?
Sean, there is actually a couple on the channel. If you search Phil on the videos, there's one actually labeled My Friend Phil. Now, it is about a year old, but there is definitely my Phil appreciation video there somewhere. Along with other things like Paint Me Like One of Your French Girls, and the one where I was making a crater and you picked the camera up and sang into it like a microphone saying Sean and Liam were heretics.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, movement values, which is great because now things can be more unique. Like I always call jump infantry, that you look at a Tyranid Strike and you look at the likes of a jump pack. I always thought an Assault Marine jump pack should be not as good as a Vanguard Veteran jump pack, and then On top of that, I think a Tyranid Trike knows how to fly better than them using a piece of machine. So I always thought, that should be changed a little. And the pro movement values, I mean, generally it'll be the same. Like most things will probably be 5 or 6.
Marines will be 4.
Yeah, I think, the stronger you are, the slower you go. The weaker you are, the faster you go.
Not necessarily, because I think, for example, Hormigan's probably going to have a 6 to 8 inch move.
Yeah, and then you have the ones. But like, if you look at the Khorne in Age of Sigmar, you look at the Blood Reavers, they're very fast, but they're easier to kill. You look at Bloodletters, faster than Blood Reavers. Not Reavers, Warriors. And arguably better than Warriors. But I think, movement values overall, good thing. Really good thing. And then on top of that, from Adepticon, there was other ones, which was that each weapon was going to be unique. So, for example, a Flesh Borer and it's going to be completely different to every single other weapon in the game. So when I say unique, they'll have their own stats and they'll have their own sort of like rend. Rend, if people haven't played Age of Sigmar, is everyone has a save, and rend reduces your save, rather than if it's AP2 and you have a 2-up save, it ignores all your save completely. It'll be more like if the weapon was going to be AP2 or anything like that, it'll be more like rend 2 or rend 3. You've got your 2-up save, which goes down to like a 4-up or even a 5-up, even less than that. Maybe even lose your save completely. But I haven't seen anything in Age of Sigmar that is more than -3, unless you're buffing.
Like your dwarf cannon, for example.
Yeah, like my dwarf cannon. It's -3, and then I do my runesmith, which I no longer can do because FAQ. And it went up.
Tom Dag's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Dag is in the chat.
Hey, Dag.
We've got Maka. Maka didn't know what's happening. Maka, we didn't either. We just literally like, do you want to do this chat? Yep.
And then, so I'm interested to see it, but obviously I think each weapon is probably going to have unique rules as well. So the dwarf rules that's just come out, there is a drill cannon. The drill cannon hits its unit, and then all the units within a certain range take some form of damage. So that's sort of the replacement of blast damage in a sense of it. So we'll definitely see that. And then we go to melters. I feel like melters, they'll say, or anything with the vehicle keyword, and you get a reroll, or you get added bonuses. Or, things can get Monster Hunter, for example. Or if you've got Sniper, you can, maybe precision shots will return, Loads of things.
It's worth noting as well, they have actually taken a lot from Age of Sigmar, I think, especially with the Ren.
Yeah, and what they said on the live stream was they've been doing it for a very long while. And they said they started it even almost just after they did 7th, which is pretty cool.
I think changing vehicles as well. They changed the vehicles to have hull points, but running them in the form of behemoths like Age of Sigmar, so they get less effective and more damage to take, which I think is definitely the way to go, because one-shotting vehicles is 100% the reason I never take Land Raiders.
So yeah, they have that. Then, of course, because the vehicles have changed, no armor values, no glances, no penetrating hits anymore. Your vehicles are going to have a toughness value. They're going to have wounds. Now, of course, they're not a creature, so they don't have a toughness value. But then you also bring another factor on why did the Dread Knights have a toughness value? Why did the Riptides have a toughness value? I think they were starting to learn that toughness is just a universal word for how tough you are. It's tough to get through metal. It's not iron flesh.
For example, toughness 6 armored containers.
Yeah. I understand them, but then I think they should have added something in where, and which I think they might, that they have like vehicle or metal keyword or something like that. And poison doesn't do much if poison still exists.
Yeah.
Which I think, they couldn't really do then because they're just taking poison out of everything. Or they need to add this new rule that had to go in. I realized that, and I realized that I think they were just trying to, just do it and get past it. But then on top of that, there is a damage table. So just like in Sigmar, if your monstrous creatures, if your vehicles start taking damage, they start to get weaker. They start to get worse. They don't do much damage. They become very bad and not very good at all. The dwarf ones, normally, actually, no, it's not just the dwarf. It's quite a few things in Sigmar where you start to lose movement. So that's why I see with like rhinos, if they take so much damage, they're going to just start losing movement because that's really the only thing you take the rhinos for is movement and protection. And then, of course, the embark and disembark rules that's come out with the dwarves, I very much think is going to be the new rules for them anyway. But these damage tables are going to be so helpful because now they bring in the fact that, hey, in 40k, you should be able to shoot the leg off Arcana effects. And I can totally see that now. It can happen now. And, the fixed monstrous creatures, in my opinion, in terms of, if they take damage, one of the limbs should be able to be taken off like weapon destroyed, or stunned. Maybe they get dizzy, nauseated, from an attack, from a bioweapon, which totally would make sense. And now they put that in, and I mean, obviously it's monstrous creatures and I play Tyranids, and I'm not going to be happy about that, but it makes sense, so I'm happy. But one of the biggest things that they announced is that everyone can hurt everyone. So no more Tyranids can't hardly touch a Wraith Knight, or things like that. It's everything can hurt everything. Of course, if it's a Gaunt attacking Imperial Knight, the Gaunt is going to have a harder time of taking him down than, say, a Hive Tyrant or Con effects. They did state that, and it was like, okay, cool. So it becomes harder for certain things that aren't as good, There is on top of that, they did say they're taking the stats over 10 now. So no longer you're capped at 10, you go over, which is pretty cool. They also said it's still a D6 system, which I think I wasn't worried about it not becoming a D6 system. They also said that the average game, which they said was about 15,000 points, should take around 90 minutes.
Which 1 second, Phil?
What?
1 second, we've got a couple of comments in the chat. That Wargamer says, I'm disappointed that there isn't too many lots for sale on eBay selling armies. We've then got hashtag send mids 5 times, 6, 7 times. Tom says, right, gonna ride home and listen in via Bluetooth. Be careful, Tom.
Send mids.
Scrap, send mids, send mids, send mids. Hashtag freedom for the crew, send mids.
All right. So, yeah, as I was saying there, 15,000 points average game, 90 minutes. Awesome, because I think when you were playing Gene Circle, it took that amount of time just to do the first turn. To deploy, yeah, because it just you do so much. And honest thing, with them reducing the time, I love it. It also means that when you go to tournaments and competitive play, you get more games in. You're not rushed, you're not tired, and I quite enjoy that. And then if we go down to Warhammer World, we're going to be able to fit in a couple more games, which is going to be really cool. One of the biggest things they said was that they are going to have 3 different types. A narrative play is going to be like an easy campaign game that you can get into it quick. But they also said that the campaigns can connect the likes of Shadow War and future games. I hope they put one in where it's kind of like it's those hexagon tiles, like a Empire, and like Battlefleet Gothic. I hope that when they say you can tie in with Shadow War, they don't just mean you have this unit in Shadow War. You can connect them through the storyline. And whether that actually have rules. So, like, when I do a campaign, I hope, like, if I played Shadow War, where I get this information from Harry, and I've got in, I got the information I got out, and then I get this like little bonus in the next game. That would be pretty cool. And even if it doesn't do that, I'm pretty sure we can do it. And I'll be quite happy to do it. And it's quite interesting to see that they're very going deep in the narrative now.
I do like this, and to be honest, right, there's a lot of support from NIDS going on in the group chat, right, and I agree. I haven't put my NIDS on the table in quite a while. I've got the Jane Sailor Cult up and ready. I've used them a few times. There's another battle report. 2 battle reports actually coming with Jane Sailor Cults, Phil.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's 3. There's 3. 1 between me and you. One with me using them and one with you using them.
Yeah.
So there's 3 more.
Okay. So people saying I love NIDS and send NIDS all the time. How about I use NIDS when we do the first power reports? But yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Here are my NIDS. There we go. Settle.
So does this mean that we are pulling an all-night, an all-day on the day of release, filming, editing, and uploading for release day?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Cool.
Do it.
I've got the day off work already.
Such as
it's rumored to be coming out on the 10th of June, right? I've booked the 9th of June off work to scour the internet, find as much information and everything as I can, and try and get a battle report up on release day when I get my rule book.
They also said that Planet Strike and Cities of Death coming back, which would be pretty cool. And that one of the big ones was a lot of people were worried in case some of their models were going to be taken out, like Tomb Kings in Bretonnia style. And
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. That Wargamer says it's got to be Mids versus Blood Angels.
It has to be, right?
It has to be.
Yeah.
That was our first ever game. It has to be our first ever game of it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, big thing is that all the models that they use right now, they even said scenery as well, will get rules, every single one of them. I'm looking forward to the characters that are left in the background becoming more viable, like Hurian Blackheart, which I bet you don't even know who that is.
No, I don't.
Nope. You know, even the Primogenitor, that would be pretty cool to see. And even the likes of, you know, the Red Terran, Tyranids, and the Old One Eye. It'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm more looking forward to seeing the named characters in their rules. But I'm also interested to see some of the scenery. Now, we did get some of this in terms of the Eldar terrain and even some of the standard Imperial terrain inside the core rulebook right now. I'm looking forward to seeing it go further with the likes of giving rules to the Shadow giving rules to the Shadow War terrain will be interesting. Like the furnaces, you know, things like that might be pretty cool. They might not do it, but you know, the fact that they said that, they might just be saying just a little bit of terrain's getting rules. But I don't want to be so much where it's going to take time to remember the rules for the terrain.
Yeah.
Kind of like the random D6 thing in Sigmar. I've never played them yet. And I know in the tournaments they play them in, but majority of the time we just don't play them because there's just more rules to remember that we just don't need to when we're learning these new armies.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they're in there. I know that they try to do weather quite often in the Curse of the Wolfen book. There's a lot of rules for planets and weather, like the snow area and things like that. And then you've got the Empiric Storms. So it'll be interesting to try to do weather and put them in narrative play, because that'd be pretty cool, especially with all the warp zones going everywhere. I think one of the awesome things that they announced was that Force Org is still here, and that the whole that there's actually not just a CAD anymore. There is 14 CADs.
14 detachments.
14 detachments. Yeah, and some of them are really small. Some of them are really small. Some of them are really, really big. And that, you know, you'll get the 14 in the core rulebook, and then every time a codex comes out, that codex will get the specific ones where, you know, like the Decurions everyone used to get, but like the detachments also that people used to get. So that's pretty cool. But something that was really big, where they're trying to encourage, rather than people going super friends and spamming allies, if you basically, they've added a new system in called command points. Now, command points are points that you earn by filling out your detachment. So if you go for this big detachment and fill it out with your one faction, you'll get more and more command points. But if you go for loads of small factions, so you've got a mix of all these armies, you'll actually get very, very little command points. Now, what is the point in these command points? Why would you need them? Well, there's a whole load of set of rules in the core rulebook, and each faction will get some of their own, where you can spend these command points on rules like reroll 1 dice or interrupt for yourself to attack, which is pretty interesting. We'll come back to the charge thing because that's pretty awesome. But, you know, little rules like them where these command points are awesome because it adds an extra bit of tactical to the game. We don't know whether the tactical cards are staying. or whether there's going to be new cards, or whether they're not going to be there at all.
I think they're actually discontinued because they're on the last chance to buy on the Games Workshop website right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going through some more of the comments. That Wargamer says, I feel the troops might make a comeback. Marcus says, I was very happy to see Chaos getting talked about being the big bad guys, which is a very good point. They've always been kind of the kind of underdog bad guy. Felix Nesbitt says, I wonder how many Forge World models will get rules, i.e. all the models that aren't available, etc.
Well, I can answer that right now. I can answer the Forge World one right now. There was someone who asked it on the live stream, and they said they were very vague because they were Russian, but they said that it was going to come out in the very same way. So I'm assuming Forge World's just going to release all the rules all digitally day one.
And Bruce Richardson says, need a United Skitarian cult mech. You actually saw on the website as well that there is no specific Skitari.
So they actually mentioned that. So on the website, it's meant for just purely story-based and getting people in. But there will be a way of using it. If you want to just go pure Skitari, you can. If you want to just go pure cult mech, you can. If you want to do them all together, they're all classed as Adeptus Mechanicus, so they all can. And then also looking at when he was talking about the Space Marine Captain and how its rules are basically under keywords, they brought this keyword system in. So every unit will have like keywords at the bottom, and he'll have abilities that will only affect Adeptus Astartes. So it only affects Space Marines, not Guard, not Admech, and then vice versa. You know, orders, for example, for Guard will only affect Guard. It won't affect Admech, it won't affect Marines.
Kind of a little bit like that in Sigmar at the moment. For example, I know Lucy's Stormcast. Some of the abilities say only affect friendly Stormcast units, whilst other abilities do mention just friendly units in your army. So it's nice that they're kind of encouraging.
Yeah, I'm also hoping, like, because of the keyword system, it'll act sort of like the Chaos in Age of Sigmar, where you got these things that are in all factions, like the Soul Grinder, the Demon Prince, and you can choose to give them a keyword, which is Zinch, Nurgle, Khorne, or Slanesh, and then they can be put in those armies of just a full Slanesh army. I think what they're going to do is just release like all the standard stuff that's in every faction, and then say you can give them a keyword, Dark Angel, Ultramarine, blah 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 blah, and then that allows them. Everyone, all these Marine armies have these guys, and then when you come to get them, they have these guys, which is their more specific stuff. Like Khorne Demon King, for example, you'll have Chaos Space Marines, Rhinos, Forge Fiends that can go to anyone, but then Khorne Berserkers, Bloodthirsters, things like that, they'll only go to Khorne specific, which is pretty cool because then that keeps it a bit fluffy as well, which would be awesome.
We've got a couple more things in the chat as well. Someone called Liam Suter says, let's hope Eldar get a much-needed power boost.
Yeah.
That's something that you've seen on the channel with the Lizard Men and stuff.
I'll answer that, Liam. So they did say that they spent a lot of time making sure every unit in every army is usable and is good. Is useful. Which means that, now there's not going to be that Pyrophore unit you put in the corner because it's shite. There's not going to be that, the scouts are hardly taken in Blood Angels and Space Wolves and whatever, they're not going to be pushed to the corner because they're crap. Every unit's going to be useful. And I think that's good because then also means that all armies are going to be like leveled out and there's going to be so much variety. I don't think I'm going to see an army that's going to be the same.
But they also said that they've been testing with Frankie from Frontline Gaming and somebody else.
No, but they've been getting into the. So what they said was they reached out to the community, got them to test out every single model, and they tell them what works and doesn't work, and then they've done a lot of testing, and I think that was a great thing to do, which is pretty cool. And then they also said. You will see interviews of those play testers. I'm hoping they're going to shine light on how some of the armies now play and how some of the models now play, which would be pretty cool. Another big thing, templates are gone. Or your blast templates or your flamers, get them out the window. They're gone. They're not coming back. They're just gone. I honestly, I don't think that's that big a deal that they're gone.
No, I mean, for a big example of this one, right, and the reason I shout it out is because I play against it and I see it so much. Lucy's Celestin on Drakov. Pick a point on the board, all units within 2 inches of that point. It's essentially a 4-inch blast marker.
Yeah, it would help if you had a tool that can do that. So
Agreed.
I've realized that with the drill, I'm firing at a unit and I'm picking a point and I'm going around, and that's how many units around that point are going to get hit. So, you know, they do sort of have blasts and templates in, but they're just not doing it. They're all about measuring, which I guess is okay. But I sort of felt like blast and templates were more 40k thing, and I wish they kept it because it feels like 40k. But yeah. So let's see here on my notes. Yeah, so on the command rules, the command points, when you buy a special rule, you can only use that special rule once per phase. So you can't go ape and just keep on buying that reroll 1 dice. You can only have that once per phase. And the interrupt combat thing, you can only have that once per phase. Which I think helps because it stops it from breaking. Stops it from coming broken. And then they also said, if you go thematic, you get more stuff with command points. And if you don't, you get more restrictions. So you actually, if you go thematic with your army, you get access to more things you can buy with the command points. If you don't, you kind of get less things you can spend in command points. I think that's what they said. That's what it sounded like, which was awesome. And they also mentioned that next to any army is viable. So no matter what you take, it can work as long as you can make it work.
By thematic though, could you, for example, Liam used to play a Wraith before Wraith was powerful in 7th edition. Liam used to play Wraith heavy. A lot of people love playing Aspect heavy. This is just obviously Eldar. Are you going to get rewarded for sub-factions within fluffy lists like that? For example, if you run a Tyranid Horde, would you get rewarded for that? Or if you take a monster heavy list, would you get rewarded for that? Or did they not go into that much detail?
They didn't go into that much detail, so we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming what they're saying is, if you go multiple, say, guard, space marines, and I don't know, fucking whatever, you know, admech, that you're not going to have access. Well, for starters, you're not going to have access to a lot of command points, and then you're not going to get access to a lot of things you can buy with those command points. That's what I think, but it could be completely different. I could be completely wrong.
Right, we've got 2 questions in the chat. Maka says, was there any talk about the psychic phase? And I think it's Akana says, what do you think the new starter set will be like?
So there was actually no talk on the psychic phase. I'm assuming there's probably going to be something.
We'll see if we can get him back. Now, unfortunately, I didn't catch the live stream because I was actually at work, but the bits and pieces that I have seen, I am very much looking forward to. So I'll give me 2 moments. We'll see if we can get it back. The starter set is rumoured. I have seen pictures floating about of Death Guard and the new apparent Mark 9 Marines, which are the larger ones. There was a lot of pictures leaked yesterday in relation to the larger sized Marines. So that looks quite interesting. Apparently, in the centre of the picture, there was a Death Guard sergeant with the bell on its head, which was actually in the trailer itself. Are you back?
What?
You're back.
Oh, did I stop talking?
Yeah, you totally disappeared.
Oh, sorry. Where did I leave off then?
You were about to start. You said there was no mention of the psychic phase.
All right, so no mention of the psychic phase, which I'll try my best to try and ask as many questions as I can to get that. But there was no mention at all. And then on top of that, for the starter set, we saw pictures of Death Guard versus Ultramarines, and then recently we've seen pictures of Tyranids versus Ultramarines, with Rippers on singular bases on the 25 mil, 1 per base, which I was very shocked about and almost cried about, because that's rebased on all my Rippers now, which I had a lot of, which is not cool.
Bellpower Battlepunk says, explain to me again how removing codexes, armor values, templates, and introducing rules that allow my opponent to take over my turn is not changing 40k.
So they're not removing codexes. What they're doing is they're releasing 5 books on day 1. Now, all the rules will be available digitally, but there'll be 5 books. One is going to be filled with Imperium, and then they said that the Xeno ones are going to be spread across a couple of books. That's all they said about the books. But they also said after those all come out, just so that everyone has updated rules, then each codex will get a codex will come out for each faction, updating them and giving them some new models. Armor values being removed, in my opinion, makes tanks more durable, and actually fixes a lot of problems of them going straight away. Now, the only way I can see a tank going straight away is if you had a model that is at the same value and power of the tank, attacking the tank. So really, it's less of, hey, I've got a Marine with a multi-melter, your tank's going to go boom if I roll the right dice, to more of, hey, my guy's a multi-melter, I'm going to do a lot of damage to your tank. Most likely not remove it. If I get lucky, I might. The templates, I wish they kept the templates. But I understand them not keeping them. I wish they did for the flamers, kept the flamer ones at least, but I do understand the template should have stayed. Introducing new rules, well, that's what always comes in the new edition. So if you're saying I want a new edition, but I don't want new rules, and there's no point in bringing a new edition. And
he also says introducing rules that allow my opponent to take over my turn. I don't think it's taken over. It's allowing you to fight first in combat that they mentioned.
Yeah, so they're not taking over your turn. So basically what charging is, if you charge, you go first. And when I see the command points with spend them to interrupt an attack, I think maybe you have a good close combat unit and you get charged by your opponent's good close combat unit. Obviously, you don't want your close combat unit to take so much damage that they're not going to be able to destroy his. So you spend those points so they can interrupt an attack. That's what I think that is, because it wouldn't make any sense for your opponent to charge you, even though he's going first, and then spend to interrupt to go first. That doesn't really make any sense to me. So it's not he's taking over your turn. It's him interrupting so he can attack first.
And that's kind of already going on in Age of Sigmar at the moment. For example, if you're order, you can take a Quicksilver Potion, which means your hero can attack, then you get to attack normally. And Lucy uses that a lot. There is actually one for the Beastlines I've been reading through there, where if you have I think it's a Stonehorn, if you have a Stonehorn attack, you can immediately have a unit of Mournfangs pile in and attack instantly. So things like that are already happening, and it's not game-breaking.
It's not, honestly. It's very, hey, Phil, I get attacked with 2 units this turn instead of 1. It's like, and she really annoys me with that. That's why I've always killed her Dracoth first, because it's pissed me off. So yeah, I hate you, Lucy.
We kind of tried it out as well. We played a 5,000 point Age of Sigmar game, which will be coming up on the channel in the next week or two. And it was 5,000, but it was 2-on-2. And we thought, rather than just going 1-1, 1-1, it would take too long. So we basically we did 2 of the Minor Phil's units attack, 2 of Liam and Lucy, 2 of mine and Phil, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, it worked. It was pretty cool. But I also think now it's going to make close combat so viable. Also, what you're shooting, here comes the orcs, baby. Here comes the orcs. Orcs. Here comes the orcs. You know?
Tom says the question is, can a Grey Knight Terminator use force and instant death a vehicle?
I don't know the force is still there.
That means that you can't be instant death. Liam then follows it up with the question is, will Grey Knight Terminators still have force? Yeah,
so I think Grey Knight Terminator is obviously going to be really good in combat. They're going to be able to buff themselves because they're psychers. But we don't know until we see that thing. But in Age of Sigmar, the only instant death thing is on Anacorn, which is like someone taking a Revenant, almost. And that's on, and he gets 5 dice with a sword. If he rolls 2 6s, you remove the model he's attacking from play. That's model.
Is that Archeon?
Yeah, it's Archeon. And that's model, and that's very groundbreaking. He costs 700 points, which is a huge amount in Sigmar. And then he has more attacks, and he's supposed to be the leader of all the chaos in the realm. Of course, he's going to be great. We haven't seen anything like that in Sigmar, so I don't know whether we'll see anything like that in 40k. Basically, only time will tell. Again, up and my notes. They did say supplements will be brought up to speed and new ones are coming. What I hear there is Return to Ball, baby, which are pretty cool. And of course, Return to Fenris for the Space Wolves Revenge against Prospero and the Planet of the Sorcerers. And then, of course, new ones like the Plague Planet with the Death Guard is coming. Obviously, it's coming. We've had the trailer. It's obviously coming. Mortarian's coming. I'm excited for that one. But they also said that there's going to be a lot of story which is going to blow our minds away. I look forward to that. Don't know about units, I'm looking forward to that. They also said that there will be a 40k app similar to the Sigma app, which will have all the rules on it. Won't be out on launch because they're still working on it. But that just gives us really easy access rather than going to the website, downloading it onto your phone. You can just go into this app, which is awesome, and download the scrolls or whatever they're going to call it as you need. They did say there's going to be tournament guidelines in the core rulebook for people to make tournaments and make rules packs, which would be pretty cool. And then going further in my notes, they said the top 3 goals for creating this was to work in all 3 ways, to have each army can be fun and competitive at the same time, and then to make sure that the game was much more accessible. They also said that when they looked at 7th, they saw that Chaos was losing and that they were very taking a step back and behind the sidelines, which is not Chaos at all. So that's why they're bringing them forward in such a powerful and epic way, which is awesome because Chaos has definitely been left in the dark for too long. So it's interesting to see them come. One of the interesting things when I looked at the galaxy map is there was a lot of Necron dynasties. So I'm actually hoping they do a story called Dynasty Wars, because that'd be so fucking fun. Aaron said that, do you think Soul Burst would become a command point rule? Well, they said that, you know, if you stay one faction, you get bonuses. And that every model is going to get rules. That means Yin-Yad, the Avatar of Yin-Yad, the Vizark, and Yvrain are going to be getting rules. So I do believe that there will be something for Ynnari in there somewhere. Like, I feel like they'll have some of their dudes who will be like, these could also have keyword Ynnari, or you take this and you could take these with keyword Ynnari. I think that's an interesting thing. When they say that something's going to be up to date, I feel like they might not do it at first, and then they'll bring it come a codex, but we just don't know right now. Don't know at all. So Soul Burst, we don't know.
Arkanar says, are you going to do some kind of huge final 7th edition battle report?
Oh yeah. I'm working on the rules. I'm working on the objective markers and the enemies. And Harry, what was your reaction when I told you about it?
Mint.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know that said, what do you think the new faction upon release will be? So yeah, they said that someone asked, will there be new factions we've never seen before come to 40k? And they said yes, and then they added on launch day. That has blown my mind. Brand new army coming on launch day with full rules, full models. I'm excited, Harry. Are you excited?
Yes, Phil.
Yes, I am. I'm so excited to see that because if I could create an army, mine was going to be like a bunch of mole people, loads of moles, rock monsters, drills. I don't know whether they're going to do that. That'll be awesome if they did.
It's obviously going to be Death Guard, though.
No. Well, they said new faction, so it's whether or not they meant race or whether they just meant faction. I hope they said race. Guys, I'm upset. But Jacob, hi, how are you, man? He said, "Oh, Night Lord's getting rules and fluff advancement. We just don't know, but they said there'll be rules for everything. So I'm assuming so." Liam says, "Do you think the way you choose to paint your army will give you benefits in 8th?" I think I'm going to say no, because I feel as if that's a bit pushing it in terms of, hey, you don't get to choose how you paint your army unless you want to lose some rules. I think that's a bit of a kick in the nuts. So no, I wouldn't say painting. Inari's listed on the site as a separate faction, so just wondering. So yeah, maybe. Yeah, Inari probably has all their own rules and all his own guys, maybe. Also, the storyline is apparently progressing again in 8th with a major change. Yeah, they said that as well. So should be interesting. Should be interesting. Next is, oh yeah, they said all factions will be represented with a couple of sub-factions at least. They also said there's 2 different points values. There's the power level points value and the granule points value. The power level points value is for narrative play, and it's a bit like Sigmar, where you just buy your 10 guys for a certain amount of points, equip them however you like, and you can just quickly build a list and play it. Then you've got match play, which is paying for your models and weapons and upgrades and stuff like that. So I do like that. We've got a Sigmar way of playing, and then we've got the 40k way of playing, get even more competitive. Someone did say, oh yeah, Tempestus, Katarian, Khorne, Demon King, Honest faction, but they are still there. You know, they are there. They're just not, you know, there as a singular faction. Yeah, and then everything and everything else. Weapons can cause multiple damage. They did do an example about battle cannons in 8th edition, where they said they're amazing against tanks, monsters, creatures, Imperial Knights, but they're not good at thinning out squads and little guys, which is interesting because battle cannons used to be big blast templates. And Vanquisher battle cannons was like a single shot, really good at just popping something. So interesting, a little bit interesting there. Someone did ask what's the highest wound count, and they couldn't think about the top of the head, and they didn't want to say it in case they were wrong. But they said the Knights have pretty high wound counters, and that the Lord of Skulls has higher than the Knights wound counters, which is awesome. They said Allies still there, but of course that's taking multiple cards and losing your command points. The keyword system is put in to stop Death Stars, which I think I've already gone over much of it.
Yeah, there's a quick question here. We've got Liam. I think when he meant about the painting, he plays Ulthway, so it would be cool to see his Farseers and Guardians get better buffs or more abilities than same Handseer or Guardian. Liam, you've already got that in Gathering Storm 2 because the Ulthway Strike Force is broken.
Yeah. So in the 7th edition, the Ulthway did get some form of a CAD. I'm expecting factions will get them. So if you take a Wraith list, you'll get Iandan stuff, or if you take a Ulthway list, you'll get Ulthway stuff.
Rick Lewis says the new faction would be the YouTubers faction with models of you folks, Winters, etc. and awesome. Winters what with a flat top, wouldn't he?
That would be awesome, but like Winters would have to get like, do you know how the orcs have the thinking cap? You have like Winters flap cap, and it'll be like, I think it'll be pretty cool. Do you think the new army could be Rakgol? I have no idea what Rakgol. The wargamer power level, just the name for the points. It's power level points for the narrative play, and then granule points for the match play. Do you think mishaps from Deep Strike will still be a thing? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Don't know about it. They never talked about Deep Strike.
Well, if the Sigmar has anything to go by, for example, this was one of the things I was talking to you the other day about, and I couldn't remember what the crossover rules were. Stormcast, for example, if they have Stormcast Legions, can just deep strike their units 9 inches away from enemy models. They've also got some abilities which allow them to get within 3 inches, or 3 inches away rather. But then when you look at the Ulthway Strike Force, it just says they count as deep striking, but set them up 9 inches away from the enemy units. So it was just it was very, very similar to the way that it was done in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. So other ones on the map, everyone was saying going crazy. Why the Iron Hands World Medusa is not on the map. People were saying it's destroyed. They announced that it's not destroyed. The map was getting too crowded, so they took them out. But I look at all the other planets that I have no idea what they are, why they're there, or anything like that. Never heard them at all, but I've heard Medusa. So I don't know why they took Medusa out and others, but that's all right. They did say that there'll be brand new novels for Black Library on launch day as well, as they'll still be doing them, and there'll be some stuff there, which will be pretty cool. I wonder whether they're actually going to do audiobooks, because I want to get that new Size of the Emperor audiobook, which sounds so cool. They also said photo rules will be available in the same way. That's like their wording for it. So I'm assuming it's just going to be released all digitally and things like that. Storyline going to develop and blah blah blah. But yeah, so they said the storyline's going to develop, but generally one of the things that you'll know is going to stay the same is that in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. They also said every day from now until the edition comes out, there'll be announcements every day, interviews with people who tested it, and even developers and images and stuff like that. Now people did ask when is it going to be released, and they said this year, because they weren't going to tell you an actual day. So it really annoyed me. Someone even said that is all the rules going to be wrote in your accent, and there was a dude in it who was Irish, and he was like, yes, all the rules are going to be wrote in Irish, obviously. And obviously that's a little joke there, pretty cool as well. Awesome thing that I announced at the end, which was pretty cool, was that from last Saturday and 8 weeks prior to that Saturday, if you bought a book from them, up until this Warhammer 40k release, if you contact the DW store with your receipt, basically you get your money back for your codexes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice that they've actually engaged in the community and been so open, because if you look 3 years ago when I first got into 40k, everything was like, oh, I'll tell nobody. And suddenly on a Saturday, you'd find out what went for release, and it was totally random. It could have been anything, where now you're finding out like a month in advance.
Yeah.
And with this, I mean, what we're talking, it's going to be at least 5 or 6 weeks away. And engaging with people, you've seen them at Adepticon, you've seen them at the South Coast GT this weekend, and it's nice that they're actually involving people and actually engaging in the community. It's something that they haven't done.
Yeah. Pancake Penny Pin says new armies, as in any ideas, sub-factions, or what's already available. Don't know if they didn't go over it. Death Guard coming, it could be new factions, but it could just be a brand new army altogether. I hope it's a brand new army altogether that they're on about. Someone says, how do you think spore mines will work? I think like cheap mines. I don't know how they'll work. I don't know how I would change them. I quite like them the way they are. Yeah, YouTube faction's awesome. Sweet new shit on the way. Are Riptides changing from model type? I think they'll just get a keyword like monster or like a metal or mech, something like that. I don't know what they'll do. All the way to see. Is that live stream available to watch? Yeah, Warhammer TV Facebook page. You go to Warhammer TV page on Facebook. They have the live stream there. They go over everything there. Jacob, does this mean that we won't have Ali whining about God anymore? No, he's still whining.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, so that's all my notes. I'm just going to go through them all again quickly. See if I missed anything. Yeah, the image. Someone blew up the image for the 3 detachments that they showed. One of them looks like the normal one, which is HQ and a couple of troops. They said that one actually give you no command points, which is interesting. There's another one which looks like a couple more HQ and a couple more troops, which probably give you a little bit more. And there's one which it looks like loads of troops, like 6 or something like that. It looks like loads of troops, a bunch of HQ, a bunch of elites, a bunch of fast tech, a bunch of heavy support. You're going to get a bunch of command points. But that's only 3 or 14, so that should be pretty cool. Yeah, they tested this edition with loads of the tournament organizers, even from like gaming, Adepticon, Nova, and they also took a lot of community feedback on various forums, social media, etc. There will be no broken units a la Riptide. So, the unit.
We quoted Riptide, though, didn't they?
He did the example of Riptide because someone asked about the Riptide being no longer broken. And he said hopefully broken units are gone and Death Stars are gone. Try to get rid of that.
They also said that if something was found, like if they've missed loopholes or something, if they've then found somebody that's running something that's pretty ridiculous, they would FAQ it and get it out like almost instantly.
Yeah. Fan interaction, there'll be an interactive forum coming as well, which will be awesome because that's an instant way of getting your thing out there, ideas out there about what's happening. There's a lot of unit rebalancing. The game development was in development for a long time. Oh yeah, big thing. They said they're gonna show off a lot of cool stuff at Warhammer Fest. So if you haven't got your tickets for Warhammer Fest, you better get yourself down there pretty quick.
We all knew that was going to happen, though, really, because the
I think everyone sort of knew.
It's the 10th of June, so basically that's 2 weeks before, and I think it'll be a 2-week pre-order.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. Warhammer Fest, pretty awesome. I'm not going down myself, but what about the faction? Noticed on the new 40K say that Astral Terran was missing. No factions are still there, really. Yeah, one of the guys said that when he played the game, he really felt like the weapons did what they were supposed to, and that everything felt right in terms of how weapons worked.
So like plasma literally blasting an arm off a monstrous creature.
He said the best way to play a game is 1,000 points or more. Allies are still around, but keyword system stops them from being like a Death Star equivalent. And that is generally about it. Yeah.
So what are your hopes for it? Obviously, you've seen all of that information. What are you hoping for?
Well, we also found out at Adepticon that the leadership system is changing to exactly like Bravery and Sigmar, where you roll a d6, and you've got like a certain leadership that you minus off that, and then you add the models that you've lost via casualties and stuff like that. And there's no fearless in Sigmar. There is don't have to take battle shock tests, for example. So I hope Synapse is that. But I also hope there was rumors for Synapse to be, say, if go on to in Synapse of a Turbogon, they get Fatal Pain. If they're in Synapse of like Warriors, they'll get something else, like an extra Ballista skill or something, or an extra inch to the run or something like that. I hope that's there for Tyranids, like bringing in more juicy rules, juicy abilities, and pretty cool stuff. I hope that's there. I have high hopes that Jink is gone.
I don't. Richardson says, so are the new Space Marines just different models or a new type of Marine in the fluff? Well, initially there were supposed to be new models, because from what I understand, those models have actually been in existence for nearly 2 years. But they held off releasing them because they didn't want everybody who's got a Marine army to basically rage quit and have to buy an entire new army of the new models. So I think what they've done is they've waited until the Gathering Storm 3. Gulliman's now back. Basically, we know he's not happy with the way that the Imperium is being ran, and apparently these are supposed to be kind of like what Custodes are, but Gulliman's own personal ultra buffs, basically. So for the minute, we don't know exactly. And Phil has gone again. Let's see if we can get him back. Right, just waiting for Phil to come back in, of course. Are you back? Right, he seems to be in the chat, but his microphone is muted.
Yeah.
So there you go, you're back.
Yeah. Jacob, just to answer your question quickly. I don't think there's an issue system. If you charge, you go first.
Tom, give us a smile, Harry.
I don't know whether there's an issue system after that, though, because, of course, no one's charging after that, and whether you just decide which unit you want to attack with. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, as I was saying, I really want Tyranids to be nice. Of course, I've got my Genestealer cult. Now, the one thing that's miffed me off is I can't go Genestealer cult in NIDS without restricting myself with command points, which is sad. It's quite sad.
Especially when there's a massive anti-air gap in Genestealer cult.
Yeah. Then I have my Death Watch. Don't think I'll be going front and forward with them, but I probably will. Actually, I might bring them a couple of times. And then I've got all my demons. Now, that was a problem because I bought them all 40k where I take one demon stuff and then summon, if I need to, a tool that I need from another demon thing. That's kind of fucked me now. Like,
on the subject of summoning, do you think they're going to restrict summoning like what they did in Age of Sigmar, because it is incredibly restrictive in match play?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll lose it. I don't know whether summoning's going to stay or something's going to change with summoning. All will be revealed. Oh yeah, Jacob, you weren't here for command points. Basically, if you take a bigger detachment full of your, and in a detachment you're going to take one faction, obviously. If you take a bigger ones, you get more command points. You take smaller ones, you get less command points. Command points are used to buy rules, such as reroll one dice roll, or if it's not your turn, it's your opponent's, he's just charged you. He's going first. You can spend it to interrupt an attack before him. Basically, things like that, which are pretty cool. You'll get certain ones with the core, and then each Codex release, you'll get specific ones in that. And the more you stick to one faction, the more you stay fluffy, apparently, you'll get more command points and more stuff to use these command points on, which I think is interesting. Interesting dynamic, interesting little thing. And it stops people from creating super friend lists and bringing the best of both all worlds, really. So, yeah. Not essentially buy rules, like tactical rules that you buy. So I don't know whether it works like this, but say if I have one dice, I needed to wound, I need to take that last wound of Harry's captain, and I failed, I'll spend my command points to reroll that dice. Don't know whether it'll work like that, but maybe it does. It'd be pretty cool. But essentially, yeah, Raptors might be able to buy rules. Essentially, but they only work once per phase. And you don't regen command points. You have a limited amount, so you will run out of them. So they can't always do it. But yeah, I think it's
the really old Apocalypse where you've got not reinforcement points. I can't remember what they're called, but they used to be around in the 6th edition Apocalypse where if units died or you killed super heavies, you used to get big points basically to spend on bringing units back and stuff.
And what are your thoughts on 8th edition, Harry?
I'm liking it. I'm looking forward to being streamlined. A lot of people bashed Age of Sigmar, including me, and I'll hold my hands up, saying that it was naff, it was too simple, and this, that, and the other. It's kind of like chess. It's very easy to go through the motions and physically play the game, but to master it and pull off the combos and make strong lists and to pull it off in the game it's harder to master. So I'm looking forward to it because it's at the minute 40k is basically who can think up the filthiest combo, which is still kind of Age of Sigmar, but there's so many additional rules that you've got to remember with that. So all the armor values and everything for vehicles, but you get +1 cover save if the front arc isn't the one that you fired at, or whatever it is. Combine that with then stealth and shroud. No, it's not 25% obscured, but because the front facing is, you do get +1, and it's just like, I do hope that decongest it. It still needs more complexity than Age of Sigmar. I don't want to take that away, but it definitely needs a bit of streamlining, and I'm quite looking forward to it. It's obviously, when I played back in 2nd edition, combat was good. You know, Gene Stealers were power claws, just cut through Marines' power armor, and like, as a Marine player, you were terrified of Gene Stealers. Like, Gene Stealers were moving 6, running D6, and Marines were moving 4. It was a case of shoot them before they get to you, or you're going to die. And I hope they do stuff like that again, because that works. It's still there, or are you gone again?
Yeah, I'm just getting some stuff out.
So I am looking forward to it, because it's going to make combat more viable. I mean, Blood Angels, for example, if you look at most of my armies, the ones I play regular are pretty close combat. With Blood Angels, I love being up close. Dark Elder, I play reasonably up close. Tyranids, I love playing them up close. And the same with the Khorne Demon King. Everything, I'm very combat oriented. It's not very often I take pure Eldar or pure Necrons to run out. So I am very much looking forward to it. What about you? Because I mean, you play quite shooty with Tyranids.
I mean, it's just wait and see, really. There's no way around it. A lot of things are going to be wait and see. See what becomes about everything, and see what I can do / can't do. That's basically it.
Nathaniel Schultz says, I'm still not feeling good about 8th edition. I'll probably wait a year before I upgrade. I always knew they'd Sigmar 40k rather than do good. I think they are doing good. They're not Sigmar in it. They're taking a lot of good stuff from Sigmar. And like I've just said, you know, people bash Sigmar because it's easy to play. Yes, it is easy to go through the motions of playing, but it's not easy to play it well. So I think saying that Sigmar at it, it's not a bad thing. They're going to keep. Don't get me wrong, I think they're going to use a lot of Sigmar stuff, but they're still going to keep it 40k. There's still going to be a lot of stuff in there that makes it different to Sigmar. Would you agree?
Easy to get around the rules, hard to master. Simple as that.
Yep. And like I said, it's not a bad thing. You're going to get more players coming in. You're going to get more variations of armies if what we say about building armies is true. You know, no two armies are going to be the same. You know, right, if you go up against Space Marines, right, as soon as they say what chapter tactics they're using, you know exactly what you're going to face. You got White Scars, you're probably going to be facing a Scar Hunter Blade or something.
Some of that, yeah.
If you're going up against Iron Hands, you're going to end up with a Medusa with bikes because of toughness 5 with 3 up feel no pain and stuff. If you're going ultimately, going to face a double Debbie.
Yeah, so I think it brings this freshness that we've needed for a while in 40k. And I'm happy about that because now I can play Sean.
Yeah. Nathaniel Schultz says they've said that they are just going to sell out what is left in stock. Then no new books till updated to Sigmar mode. I wouldn't even call it Sigmar mode. I think calling it Sigmar mode is a bit. I don't agree with it. It's still its own game.
because you've got match play rules in this, which is nothing like Sigmar points, but you've got the narrative play rules, which is just like Sigmar points. But
that's just the way.
If you played Sigmar, there's rules in there which I think were perfect for 40k, and that's what they've done. They've taken the perfect things of Sigmar and added it 40k, but made 40k still more complicated than Sigmar, which is good because people wanted some of the complicatedness still there. But also found a way to make it also accessible and less complicated for people who don't want to be complicated about it. And now there's no way of saying they're not going to be complicated with me going, hey, I'm talking complications.
Nathaniel says, I don't know that I've ever found 40k rules complex. I've played since Rogue Trader. I've only played 2nd and 7th, right? And me in particular, I don't find 7th complex.
For new players.
I'll tell you, my long-term memory and ability to remember rules and stat lines is ridiculously good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? It's not very often I need to look in the rulebook for something as it stands. For me, it's not complex. But when I try, for example, Lucy doesn't play 40k, but if I try to talk her through what me and Phil are doing when we're playing a game, she can't follow it. She's got no idea what's going on.
Because now Lucy's going to play 40k, right? Right?
Hopefully.
Right?
Well, she hasn't commented in the chat, so I don't know if she's still around. But hopefully. We kind of convinced that you're on board with the Shadow War Armageddon campaign, which I need to put all the terrain for. After, I'm working on Gore Chosen build, Gore Chosen model for Gore Chosen Knockout League that me and Liam's going to film.
Ooh.
And if you guys didn't tune in at the beginning, there is a big Apocalypse Age Sigmar game coming because we have a Star Drake. Look, Bill.
I don't like Star Treks. Get lost.
And Space Hulk, someone mentioned Space Hulk just a couple of comments back. Space Hulk Battle Report is up on the channel. The next one will be going up hopefully this week. Me and Phil filmed a Gangs of Comrade campaign. That will be this week. That is going up this week. And then me and Liam Gore Chosen Knockout League. And then after all of that, we're going to start a Shadow War campaign. And the reason I'm doing all these extra board games and everything is because I've actually got about 5 or 6 40k battle reports already filmed to go up online, so I don't need to play 40k. So I'm really focusing on my painting, a little bit more into Sigmar on the go as well. Obviously, my corners expanding. I'm painting up some Bloodbound. We've got Beast Core Raiders, and Phil is getting carried in Overlords. So between us two and Lucy and Liam, there's 6 armies actively going to be in use on the channel. And of course, all the other people that we meet and play along the way as well.
I left my glue at GW Sunland.
Well, I've lost my super glue because I took it to work to build models on Thursday and I can't find it.
Someone used my plastic glue, and now I've left my plastic glue there. So I can't build my Warhammer World employees for our end game.
Like this.
What am I looking at? One sec, Chris. I hate you. Die.
Plastic glue. Anyway, I'm going to let you take over the chat because I need to go to the little boys' room.
Oh, Harry's leaving. Phil's in charge. What? Send Nids. Send Nids. Send Nids. Hashtag send Nids. People send Nids. Send Nids, people. So, why don't you have a couple of questions in the chat? Does anyone want any questions about Carrion Overlords? Because I'm really excited about them. No one's got any questions about the new dwarfs? Go ahead. If anyone's got any questions about my current projects, what's coming ahead in the channel, anything like that, just go ahead. Lay it on me. Send nids. Let's see here. I want to hashtag send nids. How do I hashtag send nids? Where's my hashtag? But I'll be starting the Pirate Dwarfs. Jacob, my order is arriving on Wednesday. Got myself the cards, a whole bunch of paints, because I'm going to be painting up like Barak Nah, and I've got 3 of the Battleline units. Because I'm obviously going to need Battleline somewhere. But on Wednesday, I'm going to GW Sunland to get myself a decks for the Battle Tome, even for the Carradine Overlords. I'm going to be reading through all the rules for Barak Nah and the fluff for Barak Nah and creating a faction around Barak Nah. Barak Nah is a faction that is the biggest faction and the faction that is most considered to be the ones who basically the ones who most consider profit when they go into battle. Will this battle be profitable? Will it profit them greatly? If not, then we're not going to the battle. There is many different types of barracks. I think one of the bigger ones is to do with sailing, and one of them's to do with sailing. One of them's to do with twisting the code. One of them's to do with following the code letter by letter. It's pretty cool.
I have Jaffa Cakes.
Coolskin, what are you on about, man? What's up? What's up, Coolskin? So talk something. So talk something. Just tell us. Tell us what. What do you want me to tell you, Coolskin? I'm walking to uni now because I'm a madman.
I'm walking to uni now because I'm a madman.
10 past 10, Jacob. That's not on.
You're going to uni now.
You're either getting there really early for your lecture tomorrow or you're late. Free the nipple? You're talking about me. I think Liam's gone a little bit loopy.
That wargamer says, love the Overlords, but hate the squad conversions.
I am planning to do conversions for them, but of course I'm waiting for the new edition first. We'll see how I want to convert them to make my squad army, but there's a lot of things I have to do to them that I might not be proud of. Do it, Phil. Do what, Liam? Convert the squads.
I need to make something.
Here comes like Gandalf. I'm never late. I arrive precisely when I mean to. Oh, yeah, and prepare yourselves, guys, when I do bring the Carradine Overlords, because I am not going to stop quoting Barbosa for the life of me.
I hope you've got a list of quotes.
All in my head, bro. I'm actually going to get like a giant pirate hat with a giant feather.
Oh, Nathaniel Schultz says, I don't play orcs anymore, but I am hoping they restore the nuttiness to orc rules. I miss orky transport rules, pile them on the model, and if they fall off, they fall out. Also, orky activity.
Orcs don't have to worry about initiative anymore, because if you charge, you go first.
Wait. Cool Skins is building a storm surge. You mean like this one?
Betrayal. Squats far over, and I will love it, Phil. Here in Holland, it's 12 past 23, which is 12 past 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's 10 here. Nathaniel hashtag too many models to paint. Right, too many models to paint. I have 100 Hellfire Warriors, Pathfinders, etc. 60 drones, 10 suits, 4 Riptides, 6 broadsides, and God knows what else. We call them Bloodbound. I've got 60 Reavers, 40 Blood Warriors, and God knows what else. I've got another 30 Bloodletters on top of me, 120. I've got another 60 Marines. I've got an entire Deathwatch army to paint. And I've got another 60 models from Dream Killer Cult, plus transports and stuff to paint.
Yeah. So we've got this final game idea to say goodbye to 7th, created by me. I don't think it's gonna be.
I'm filming.
Don't reveal anything yet. Blah, 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 blah. You'll have to wait until the game to know what it's all about. But I think it's a pretty epic idea.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty epic idea. It is going to be a 4-way. I know it's me and Harry. I don't know what the other 2 people are going to be. Perhaps even Liam and Jacob, because they're here right now. Could confirm that they might do it.
That war gamer says he'll happily put some of that Death Watch. I am contemplating selling it simply because I've just bought a Beast Claw army, and even though I'm at 2,500 points with 13 models, I'm still scared that I've got too much to paint. So message me through
the last game.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about, Tom Dag, Liam, Jacob, scoop up, Liam, Jacob, Liam, Jacob, Liam, Jacob. Come on, Jacob. It's only going to be 1,000 points, Jacob. So it's good fit in that. Liam's body is ready. There we go. Done. Well, we could have a 5-way, but I don't think Tom would fit on the table. So
we could play it on Tom.
All right. Bit weird.
Well,
maybe we can throw Tom. We can throw Tom in, right?
What? Throw him in the sea?
Yeah, we can throw Tom in.
Yeah, we can throw Tom in the sea.
God damn it, I wish I didn't forget my glue. Scraping the bottom of the barrel right now.
I need my super glue and I've got no idea where I've left it. An entire bottle of it. Like, not even just a little bottle, like a big bottle. Cool Skin says, do I airbrush? I'm not normally, but only just recently started to. So everything you've seen on the channel has been painted with a brush. Nothing I've painted with an airbrush has been put on the channel yet.
That's my Warhammer World employees built. We'll head there towards the game.
Explain this game to me again, because I didn't understand.
Because nobody else is going to know the full extent of it until the game.
Is this kind of like the Christmas special when Tom was like, you get a bloodthirster?
Not that eccentric, because that fucked me last time, and I'm not going to let that happen to anyone. Because all honesty, I think this one's going to be really funny. I've already made the D system, which is the D6 system, which will be pretty cool. And I think other people will love it. I think other people are going to love it. I'll obviously put the rules in like a comment section or the bio for people to use. But I'm going to put out there, Tom, not Thomas, it's not Sunday. Tom had a 2D6 system. Mine's going to be a D66 system.
You've got the time to write all that out.
Yeah. Do you want me to read one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, roll 2 dice for me.
Oh, it's like a boom table.
Yeah, roll 2 dice for me.
I haven't got any dice.
Okay. Pick a number then.
44.
44.
Coolskin says use an airbrush. Well, that's why I bought one. And Phil is gone again, I think. Let's get him back. Tom says it was a D16. I can't remember it. It was pretty awesome though, Tom. Let's get Phil back though. What do you think would be more appropriate for 7th edition finals? A huge multiplayer apocalypse game, Imperium versus Xenos, or a 1-day 3-game tourney? I have no idea. I genuinely don't know. Pretty easy just playing in it though. Coolskin, I always say I airbrush models so it sounds less nerdy. Yeah, I did actually paint 100 bloodletters because I ran 120 in a tournament, an Age of Sigmar tournament that I played in at the beginning of the month. That was interesting. I think it only took me about 4 or 5 hours maybe to do the lot.
I'm back.
Andy's back in the room.
Yeah, number 44. Return of old rules. Sort of. It's more just return of an old thing. You found Turkey Twizzlers. Regain 1 wound on the unit that got this objective.
Nice. That's not bad.
Not bad. That's number 44. Shit's getting real.
Delport Battlefront said, what do you think would be more appropriate for a 7th edition final Huzzah? A huge multiplayer apocalypse game, Imperium versus Xenos or Chaos, or a 1-day 3-game tourney?
Don't call it tourney, and then people won't bring horrible lists. Boom.
The problem with a massive apocalypse game is space. I mean, we've planned the Age of Sigmar one, and it's been a nightmare to try and organise.
Yeah.
To the point that we were going to go down to Warhammer World and just do it on an apocalypse table there, because it was actually going to cost less to drive 2 cars down. However, we couldn't get the tables on the days that we were all available, so unfortunately, that is less likely as well. It's a shame, but unfortunately,
we haven't figured it out though. It's going to be pretty cool.
I'm using the stats we're in now.
See you later, Green Stuff Games, buddy.
Green Stuff Games is off. Thank you very much for tuning in. I feel like I need to use some big bits of slate for Star Trek.
What do you think the next Army Dipper release for Age of Sigmar is going to be, Harry?
Well, there's a lot of rumors flying around of this, and I don't know. If you look at the pictures of everything that's been coming out, they look very kind of sea themed, I think. So I don't know. It could be also.
Well, now that they said that there's a new army coming new faction coming for 40k, it could well be a sea faction. It could well be Aquafish with spears and gills.
I really don't know, mate. I would like something pretty cool and totally new. Steve Dunn says, what are you still working on? I'm still on my dev company for the last paint and chat. I'm working on Lucy's Star Drake. I'm currently trying to make a base whilst holding a wing on to glue it in place. And Gorcho's models at the same time. Phil?
I'm working on models to be used into the last game of 7th edition 40k. So yeah. These models are going to be real fun, Harry. I'm looking forward to them.
What exactly are you doing with them?
I've got my Warhammer World employees.
Warhammer employees.
Yep. Which will make sense when it comes to the game. And I've got my objective markers, which are very specific objective markers. That when you capture them, strange things happen.
When you capture the employees, strange things happen.
No, when you capture the objective markers. There's something else to do with the objective markers, but I'm not going to explain that because I want to save that for the actual game.
Okay.
Like what the objective markers are, for example.
This has proven very difficult to try and build a rocky base for Stardrake.
I'm also working on my blue horrors, and I do the trims. I've got actually 40 blue horrors here, so
40.
40 blue horrors, and then I've got 40 brimstones going. Well, actually, 44 blue horrors and then 44 brimstones.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So let's see what happens. Whatever. I actually bought myself a giant bits box today so I can organize my bits better. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, Lucy's got a massive bits box, like just filled with all of our spare stuff, cast stuff, and like saying that I've got 3 with mine in.
You get that filthy warp spawn off the screen. I didn't know you were on the screen, Dag. Yeah, Billport, it sucks that I need 40 brimstones and 40 blue horrors just to field a 10-mana unit of pink horrors with edition right now. And I need 42 blue horrors and 42 pinks to run 11, which will get me an extra warp charge with the pink horrors. That's all going out the window soon. So looks like I'll never get a test. My 7th edition demons in 40k. Then.
Meanwhile, this wing is refusing to stick.
I talked about old rules that should have been thought about was maybe update old armor value rules. While certain things should be switched to toughness, Dreadnought's old armor values should, like the old armor value 24, 30, etc. I have no idea what the old armor value was. No idea of it at all. Dalbot Babbling says play them while you got them. I just don't have time to go for a game. And use D6s to prevent pens or damage with small arms. I just don't know whether I'll get a game with them in before 8th, which is just an upsetting problem.
After you've just spent all that money acquiring them like 3 months ago?
Over the 3 months, yeah. Getting all my Zinch, which I use in Sigma, and then getting a small force of Slanesh, a small force of Khorne, and quite a large force of Nurgle, so that I can go various demons for 7th, and then 8th appears. So, I mean, I might be able to do an 8th, but it seems like sticking to one faction might be that. But maybe I could just stick to a demons faction, not a demon Zinch, Khorne, Nurgle thing faction.
Yeah.
Just one big whole one. Which would be pretty cool. But I guess I'll just switch them out every now and again. Yeah. I don't get sick of playing Zinch. I'll switch out my Slanesh or Nurgle or Khorne or something like that. But also we'll be there for narrative campaigns as well. So, and we still don't know what's going to happen with Summon. So, yeah, I'm gonna sign out. So I need rest for tomorrow.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Got more filming to do.
For uni.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have an entire day painting.
When I get back, though, I'll be starting my pulled pork that I'll be doing overnight. 7-hour slow cooking pulled pork. I'll probably join you for Pin, maybe.
Well, I'll be hopefully painting for at least 12 hours.
Jesus Christ. All right.
You know I've done it before.
All right then. Are you just doing that all day then?
Probably.
Sweet. Sweet. Well, I'll see you later then, guys.
No problem. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you sometime soon. Please check out the rest of the channel, especially the competition video that I've got ongoing. About 5 or 6 videos back from now. Like I said, well, thanks for tuning in. Check out the rest of the channel. There's big things coming, folks. See you next time.